Okay, so we are almost at the end, and the goal of this last video isn't necessarily that you'll produce a lot of new stuff to work with. It's to kind of get you to take a look at the keywords that you've come up with. Maybe thinking about adding some new stuff that you want to try out and making some kind of edits before you actually kind of take it to Google and try it out. So what I'm going to give you is 6 kind of intro search tips. We've been talking about how to filter your search results so that it's more efficient, so that you're getting some of your good results to the front, like 2 pages. So you're not having to spend a lot of extra unnecessary time like sifting through a lot of stuff, and so you can continue to kind of research and still get good different results on those first 2 pages. So here's just some kind of tips to kind of help you out with. Okay, tip 1 I've already said, but I'm going to remind you and have you go back and kind of remove these things from your list if they're there right now. Any evaluative terms. Look back at what you have for things like good, bad, right, wrong, effective, ineffective, positive, negative, for, against. What it's going to end up doing is limiting what you're able to find, especially early in the process when you're just kind of getting started. So if you have any of those on your list, go ahead and kind of just take a second and delete those from your list. Okay. Tip 2 could actually be really helpful, and it's something you might want to actually go back and look at your list and maybe maybe add something for. It's definitely something that as you get a little bit further in your research and you start having to really think about certain types of domains or source types that you don't have yet, this might come in really handy. And what you can do is, along with your keywords, you can also add like .org, .edu, .gov, maybe a specific kind of domain, and it'll help you kind of filter just for those things, or search a specific source type. Maybe you are looking for a documentary, or you're looking for an article, or you're looking for news, or you're looking for an academic blog. Maybe there's a certain kind of thing that you need, and you can add that along with your keywords, and it'll kind of help you filter that as well. So tip 3 is more about taking specific things away from your search that you're not really interested in seeing anymore. And you can just put a negative sign, like the way, or minus sign, the way that I have here. Say you don't want to see any more .com sites. You've got all your news sites and your good sources that have .com, and you're ready to move on. You can type in your keywords that you have along with minus .com, and it just kind of helps filter those things from your search, so that you're not having to sift through those anymore. Maybe you've come across a lot of documentaries, or you've come across a lot of blogs, or maybe you're tired of coming across a certain word that keeps kind of showing up and maybe like skewing the results you're getting. Maybe something as simple as like the word teen maybe keeps popping up in your results, and it's not exactly what you're looking for, and you can kind of take that word out, and then it'll maybe help you get a different set of results. And this one is super helpful. It's really specific. If you have a specific like phrase or group of words that you really need to search it verbatim, you have to put quotation marks around it, just because otherwise, like my example is no child left behind. Okay, if I were to put in this phrase or this group of words without the quotation marks, it's going to search each of those words separately. So I might have articles with left and articles with child and articles with behind. It might do a pretty good job of searching them together, but the best way to kind of guarantee that you're going to get what you're looking for is to put quotation marks around the groups of words that you need to go together. This one isn't necessarily something that you need to, edit your list for. It's more something to keep in mind when you're searching. If you search your keywords more from general to specific, so I start with social, and then media, and then something specific like teen, it's going to give you a drop-down box of all kinds of things that maybe would be helpful to you, but you haven't even thought of yet. The last one is kind of going to help you with your synonyms. So I've said you need a lot of them, and it is still a good idea to have some different ways to kind of switch up what you're searching for. One thing you can do is if you add a tilde in front of a word that you need synonyms for, like teen. So here's kind of my example. Google will do its very best to search synonyms for that word for you. So the last thing is easy. We're kind of at the end. If you need to look back and make some final edits, you can go ahead and do that. I do want to kind of stress kind of at the end here that some of these steps I know can seem kind of tedious, especially if you haven't really done anything like this before, like going through all these steps can kind of seem like a lot. You might not go through all of these steps every single time. The goal is to really kind of hone in on some things that you might not have thought of before and give you some better kind of search strategies, just to kind of help create that habit of mind for the future. So now you're ready to take all of this fun work onto part 2 of this activity.